Hello, and welcome to Charm City Garden Montessori, a wildflower school. Our mission is to cultivate a vibrant learning community for students in grades 6 through 12 through an adolescent centered Montessori education that honors interdependence as the foundation for independence. We prepare adolescents to think critically, contribute meaningfully, and grow in responsibility through creative work, collaboration, and a deep connection to the natural world. Our vision is a generation of young adults who understand themselves as capable, connected, and responsible members of a larger community. Graduates of Charm City Garden Montessori, a wildflower school, think critically, work collaboratively, care for the natural world, and contribute meaningfully to the social and economic life of their communities. My name is Dion Avery, and I'll be serving as the founding principal of Charm City Garden Montessori. I've spent nearly 20 years in public education as a teacher, instructional leader, and principal, primarily working with middle and high school students. Over time, I became especially interested in how schools can better support adolescents, not just academically, but socially, emotionally, and developmentally. That interest led me to Montessori adolescent education, where learning is rooted in independence, responsibility, and real world application. I'm currently trained as an adolescent Montessori guide, and I bring that lens into every part of how this school is designed, from the schedule to advisory to how students learn to manage their own work. Charm City Garden Montessori exists because I wanted to create the kind of public school I wish more students had access to, one that is rigorous, human-centered, and deeply connected to the community it serves. Baltimore is home for me, and this school is a long-term commitment. As principal, my role is to make sure students feel known, teachers feel supported, and systems work so learning can thrive. Everything we're building at CCGM is grounded in that responsibility. Adrian Cornegay will serve as our assistant principal at Charm City Garden Montessori. Adrian is an experienced educator and school leader who brings a deep understanding of what it takes to support students day to day while also keeping the school running smoothly. Her work is grounded in relationship building, consistency, and strong systems that help both students and staff feel supported. In addition to her leadership experience, Adrian is also an accomplished urban gardener. She has hands on experience growing food, understanding local ecosystems, and teaching sustainability in real practical ways. At CCGM, she will oversee our garden based learning programs, ensuring that the garden is not an add on, but an integrated part of students' academic and developmental experience. As assistant principal, Adrian will play a key role in shaping school culture, supporting student growth, and helping teachers bring learning to life both inside and outside of the classroom. Her combined strengths in instructional leadership, systems building, and environmental education allow her to bridge daily operations with meaningful learning experiences. Adrian's work ensures that students experience consistency, care, and opportunity while teachers are supported in doing their best work. Together, these strengths help create a school environment that is organized, grounded, and responsive to the needs of the students. At Charm City Garden Montessori, our organizational structure is intentionally designed to balance accountability with shared leadership. Students are organized into communities we call blooms. In the middle grades, we have two blooms serving 112 and 113 students across grades 6 through 8. While students are part of a specific bloom for community and advisory, they share the same teachers and regularly collaborate across blooms. This allows students to work together on projects, engage in field work, and learn in flexible groupings while still feeling grounded in a smaller community. The high school operates with two blooms serving approximately 125 students in grades 9 through 12. The ninth and 10th grade students form Bloom 3, while grades 11 and 12 form Bloom 4. In each bloom, collaboration and interdependence remain central. particularly during work cycles and advisory, where students learn to support one another and take increasing ownership of their learning. Instructional quality is guided through our instructional leadership teams. We have one team for the middle grades and one for the high school. Each team is made up of all instructional guides in that division, along with members of the administrative team. This ensures that instructional leadership is shared while responsibility and accountability remain clear. These teams conduct instructional walkthroughs, identify strengths and areas for growth in teaching and learning, establish shared instructional goals, and monitor progress over time. This approach aligns with district expectations for instructional oversight while also reflecting principles of shared leadership and collaboration found in teal organization models where leadership is distributed, transparency is prioritized, and teams work collectively toward continuous improvement. Through this structure, CCGM maintains strong systems, clear accountability, and a culture of trust and professional responsibility. CCGM core values: interdependence. Human growth happens in relationship. Students and adults learn to rely on one another, contribute to shared work, and recognize that meaningful learning and community well-being are built collectively. Responsibility. We take ownership of our actions, commitments, and impact. Responsibility at CCGM means caring for oneself, others, and the environment with intention, accountability, and follow-through. Purposeful work. Through problem-based learning, learning is most powerful when it is rooted in real needs and authentic challenges. Students engage in purposeful work by investigating complex problems, applying interdisciplinary knowledge, and producing solutions that contribute value beyond the classroom. Problem-based learning provides the structure through which academic skills, critical thinking, and responsibility come together in meaningful action. Respect for the individual. Each student is known and valued as a developing person. We honor individual pace, voice, and identity while upholding shared expectations that support growth, dignity, and belonging within the community. Stewardship. We care for our environment, resources, and relationships with foresight and respect. Stewardship at CCGM reflects an understanding that our daily choices shape the health of our communities and the natural world we share. At CCGM, our design is deeply aligned with Wildflower's core beliefs, even though it is expressed within a public school context. We create an authentic Montessori environment by centering student agency, self-directed work, advisory relationships, and purposeful real-world learning rather than relying on rigid schedules or teacher-led instruction. Montessori principles show up in how learning is organized, not just in materials. Innovation is reflected in our program design, including Discovery Mondays, interdisciplinary planning, flipped learning, and problem-based work. These structures allow us to remain faithful to Montessori values while adapting responsibility to public school realities. CCGM functions as a seamless learning community. Students, guides, advisors, families, and community partners are connected through shared work, consistent relationships, and overlapping experiences that extend across classrooms, grade levels, and the city itself. Equity is foundational to our model. As a public Montessori school, we are intentionally designed to serve students who have historically been excluded from Montessori environments while maintaining high expectations, individualized pathways, and meaningful access to opportunity. Finally, our focus on nature is expressed through garden-based and place-based learning that supports adolescent development, environmental stewardship, and connection to the natural world as an essential context for learning. Together, These elements reflect a Montessori model that is authentic, innovative, equitable, and deeply connected to community and nature, fully aligned with Wildflower's core beliefs. We have been very intentional about the communities we plan to serve. Charm City Garden Montessori is designed to open in the Mondawmin area, serving surrounding neighborhoods including Penn North, Druid Heights, White Lock Community, Reservoir Hill, Coppin Heights, Madison Park, and Sandtown, Winchester. We are drawn to this area because it represents a significant gap in educational access, particularly at the middle school level. Through community mapping, conversations with families, and close observation of existing school options, we identified that many of these neighborhoods do not have a neighborhood-based middle school. As a result, students are often required to travel outside their communities during a critical developmental period. That displacement can disrupt continuity, relationships, and a young person's sense of belonging at a time when stability matters most. We also see a clear need for a high-quality Montessori pathway that allows students who begin in Montessori programs to continue seamlessly into adolescence. At the same time, we want to be welcoming to students from traditional and charter schools who are seeking a more student-centered, developmentally responsive learning environment. Families have consistently expressed interest in schools that emphasize independence, hands-on learning, and strong community culture, hallmarks of the Wildflower Montessori model. Opening a Wildflower charter Montessori school in this area allows us to fill a structural gap by providing a local middle school option, strengthen continuity for Montessori students, and offer an innovative and equitable choice for families who want a school that is deeply rooted in their community and responsive to the needs of adolescents. In the middle grade, students are organized into two blooms serving 112 and 113 students. Each bloom is supported by 4 teacher leaders, an ELA guide, a math guide, and a social studies guide and science guide. These 4 guides work as a collaborative instructional team responsible for the academic and developmental experience of students in that bloom. Planning for interdisciplinary learning happens intentionally during our Discovery Mondays. On these days, the 4 teacher leaders in each bloom come together for structured planning time. Rather than planning in isolation, guides collaboratively design learning experiences that connect literacy, mathematics, science, and social studies around shared themes, problems, and real-world questions. During Discovery Mondays, teacher leaders also analyze student data together to make informed decisions about instructional strategies, pacing, and student supports. This shared analysis allows guides to identify trends, recognize strengths, and respond quickly to areas where students may need additional support or challenge. Discovery Mondays are also used to plan work experiences within the community. Guides identify opportunities for field work, partnerships, and project-based experiences that allow students to apply academic skills in authentic settings. This may include planning site visits, coordinating community experts, or designing projects that respond to local needs and contexts. By planning together and using shared data, teacher leaders ensure that learning is cohesive rather than fragmented. Students experience their work across subjects as connected and purposeful, while guides maintain clarity about shared goals, expectations, and outcomes. This collaborative planning structure supports deep learning, strong relationships, and a meaningful engagement within the community, core elements of the middle grades experience at Charm City Garden Montessori. In the middle grades, expression courses are designed to complement and extend students' core academic learning. Rather than functioning as standalone electives, expression courses support the development of skills, habits, and experiences that reinforce learning in ELA, mathematics, science, and social studies. Expression courses include Spanish, art, health, physical education, and music. These courses provide students with opportunities to explore creativity, movement, language, and wellness while strengthening skills such as communication, collaboration, discipline, and self expression. Expression courses rotate every quarter. This rotation allows students to experience each discipline throughout the year while maintaining balance in the schedule and preventing over specialization at an early age. Quarter-based rotations also allow expression guides to intentionally connect their coursework to the themes and projects students are exploring in their core classes. For example, Spanish may reinforce literacy and cultural studies connected to social studies themes, while arts and music support creative expression tied to interdisciplinary projects. Health and physical education reinforce self-management, goal setting, and well-being, which are essential for students' academic focus and success. By rotating expression courses and aligning them with core learning, we ensure that students experience a well-rounded middle school program where academic rigor, creativity, wellness, and personal development are intentionally connected. Each day begins with 2 extended work cycles followed by an expression block, lunch and recess, independent study, and advisory. The work cycles are long by design, allowing students sustained time to engage in reading, writing, problem solving, experimentation, and project work without the interruption of short class periods. To preserve these longer work cycles, we use an A-Day, B-Day schedule. On A and B days, the order of expression and the second work cycle shifts between Bloom 1 and Bloom 2. This rotation allows us to offer a full range of expression courses without shortening instructional blocks or fragmenting students' learning time. The A-Day, B-Day structure ensures that students consistently experience extended periods for focused, uninterrupted work. During work cycles, students learn both independently and collaboratively, meeting with guides, working in small groups, and engaging in interdisciplinary projects. This mirrors real-world learning where sustained attention and collaboration are essential. Independent study later in the day gives students time to reflect, organize their work, and practice self-management, while advisory provides space for relationship building, reflection, and goal setting. The schedule balances structure and flexibility. It protects the depth of learning that adolescents need, supports student autonomy, and creates a rhythm to the day that is calm, purposeful, and developmentally appropriate. This slide shows a sample daily schedule for a middle school student in Bloom 1, illustrating how the A and B day structure supports balanced in-depth learning. On A Day, students begin the morning with a long work cycle focused on ELA, followed by a second extended work cycle in social studies. These uninterrupted blocks give students time to read, write, research, discuss, and work collaboratively on longer-term projects. Later in the morning, students participate in an expression course, such as Spanish, before breaking for lunch and recess. In the afternoon, students have a dedicated independent study period. This time is intentionally built into the schedule to support organization, goal setting, conferencing with guides, and completion of ongoing work. The day ends with advisory and reflection, where students build relationships, reflect on their learning, and develop social, emotional, and executive functioning skills. On a B day, the structure of the day remains consistent, but the academic focus shifts. Students engage in extended work cycles for math and science, followed by a different expression course, such as physical education. Lunch, independent study, and advisory remain anchors in the day, providing consistency and rhythm. Across both A and B days, students experience all core academic subjects while preserving long work cycles that allow for deeper thinking, collaboration, and independence. This alternating structure ensures balance across disciplines without fragmenting the learning day, creating a schedule that is both rigorous and developmentally responsive for adolescents. At the high school level, Charm City Garden Montessori is organized into 2 interdisciplinary learning communities, or Blooms, Blooms 3 and 4. Our high school students are intentionally multi-age grouped, with grades 9 and 10 learning together and grades 11 and 12 learning together. This design reflects Montessori adolescent principles by supporting peer mentorship, developmental readiness, and increasing independence over time while still meeting all state graduation requirements. Our high school schedule is designed around semester-based learning and extended work cycles that support independence, depth, and real-world application. Each day begins with a long work cycle in the morning. This block provides students with uninterrupted time to engage deeply with their coursework, whether that involves seminars, project work, research, writing, or collaboration and problem solving. The length of the work cycle allows students to move beyond surface level tasks and develop sustained focus, which is essential for college and career readiness. Mid-morning, students transition into advisory and independent study. This time serves multiple purposes. Students meet with advisors, reflect on their progress, receive targeted support, and manage their academic responsibilities. Independent study reinforces executive functioning skills such as planning, prioritizing, and self-advocacy, which are critical for adolescents preparing for life beyond high school. Lunch and clubs follow, creating space for community building, student leadership, and shared interests. Clubs are intentionally embedded into the day so that participation does not compete with academic responsibilities, and students can explore interests, leadership roles, and service opportunities. In the afternoon, students participate in 2 additional extended work cycles. These blocks allow students to engage in rigorous academic work, interdisciplinary projects, and applied learning experiences. Because courses are organized by semester, students receive a new set of courses in the second half of the year, increasing flexibility and allowing them to explore a broader range of subjects over time. Overall, this schedule balances structure with autonomy. It provides high school students with sustained time for learning, built-in support through advisory and independent study, and opportunities for leadership and community engagement, creating a developmentally appropriate pathway toward independence and responsibility. At Charm City Garden Montessori, advisory is a core developmental structure that supports students in planning, reflecting on, and taking increasing responsibility for their learning. Advisory is where community life happens. Students build relationships, resolve conflict, and learn to take shared responsibility for the well-being of their community. Through guided reflection and dialogue, advisory supports self-awareness, emotional regulation, and connection to place, including stewardship and collaboration with nature-based learning partners. Advisory also supports growing independence. Middle school students develop foundational habits around goal setting, work, and decision making, while high school advisory includes structured financial literacy to prepare students for adult life. Advisory at CCGM is intentionally semi-structured, balancing clear themes such as identity, purpose, and independence with meaningful student choice. It's not about control, but about guidance, reflection, and learning how to organize oneself within a community. Our program is built around a small number of deeply integrated pillars that support both academic growth and adolescent development. First, CCGM is an advisory-centered school. Every student is anchored in a small advisory community that supports academic monitoring, social emotional growth, and long-term adult mentorship. Students are expected to take an active role in their learning through student-led accountability and reflection. They track their progress, set goals, and communicate growth through tools like digital work plans and student-led conferences. Academic work is personalized and self-paced within clear expectations for mastery. Students work within structured work cycles that allow for flexibility, feedback, and deep engagement rather than one-size-fits-all instruction. Learning is embedded in the community. Students engage in service, partnerships, and real-world problem solving that positions Baltimore as a living curriculum. Students also participate in production and exchange, planning, creating, and sharing work that has real value. Through experiences like community vendor festivals, students learn about labor, entrepreneurship, and local economies. Garden-based and place-based learning are core to our model. The natural environment supports interdisciplinary learning, environmental stewardship, and adolescent well-being. Across the school, students learn collective responsibility, caring for shared spaces, shared work, and one another as a part of daily life. Finally, academic learning is intentionally integrated with life skills. Through maker spaces and Discovery Mondays, students build executive functioning, collaboration, leadership, and preparation for post-secondary pathways. Together, these pillars create a coherent, developmentally responsive learning experience grounded in purpose, responsibility, and community. Discovery Mondays are the motor that drives our school. At CCGM, Mondays are intentionally designed to give students the time and space to collaborate at the beginning of each week. This allows teachers to plan freely across disciplines, ensuring that lessons are overlapping, coherent, and connected, so students experience continuity from class to class rather than isolated subjects. Mondays also serve as primary professional development day. Instead of pulling teachers out of classrooms midweek, we embed learning for adults directly into the structure of the school, strengthening instructional quality and alignment. For students, Discovery Mondays operate through a flipped learning model. Students engage asynchronously with core concepts, reading, watching, researching, and preparing before arriving to class later in the week. This allows class time to be used for deeper discussion, application, and problem solving rather than first exposure. Some students also use Discovery Mondays for extended learning beyond the campus. This may include field trips, community service projects, internships, or early college coursework at local colleges and universities. Together, Discovery Mondays create the conditions for interdisciplinary teaching, meaningful professional collaboration, and real-world learning, making them not a break from instruction, but a structural driver of it. In adolescent Montessori education, learning is not meant to be simulated, it's meant to be real. Dr. Maria Montessori was clear that adolescents need purposeful work, economic participation, and meaningful roles in society in order to develop confidence, moral reasoning, and independence. These partnerships allow us to do exactly that. Each of these organizations aligns with our vision of developing prepared adults through real-world contribution, not passive consumption. Partners like Everify, Network for Teacher Entrepreneurship, and the Baltimore Children's Business Fair support financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and economic agency, core components of adolescent development and independence. Organizations such as Arts Every Day, Art with a Heart, and LYTC connect students to creative expression as a tool for identity formation, emotional processing, and social awareness, key developmental needs during adolescence. Our nature and place-based mission is reinforced through partnerships with Living Classrooms, Curry Murray Nature Center, Chesapeake Bay Outward Bound, partnerships with local farmers, Plantation Park Heights, Farm Alliance of Baltimore, and What the Sprout. These organizations ground students in environmental stewardship, physical work, and responsibility to land and community, central to the Erdkinder philosophy. Leadership, civic engagement, and social justice are developed through work with Young Successful Leaders and the Baltimore Green Justice Worker Cooperative, where students engage with real issues affecting Baltimore and learn how collective action creates change. Finally, the Enoch Pratt Free Library serves as an intellectual and civic hub, supporting research, independent study, and lifelong learning beyond school walls. Most importantly, this work is not extracurricular fluff. Purposeful engagement with these partners happens during advisory, on virtual Mondays, and through after-school experiences. Advisory serves as the planning and reflection space. Virtual Mondays allow for workshops, guest facilitators, and off-site learning, and after-school time supports deeper skill building and sustained projects. Together, these partnerships ensure our students are not just learning about the world, but actively participating in it, contributing to it, and discovering their place within it. In adolescent Montessori education, extracurriculars are not adult assigned programs. They are extensions of student agency. Clubs at our school are chosen, created, and run by students with adult advisors serving as guides, mentors, and safety supports, not directors. This structure allows us to offer more opportunities, not fewer. Because clubs do not depend on large rosters or full time staff, students can launch activities based on real interest, sustained commitment, and shared responsibility. Clubs evolve organically, expand when interest grows, and pause when interest fades, mirroring how work and collaboration function in the real world. Adult advisors support students with planning, logistics, reflection, and accountability, while students take the lead in decision making, organization, and peer engagement. This approach builds leadership, initiative, and executive functioning, core goals of adolescent Montessori education. Rather than limiting opportunity, our small school environment creates the conditions for deeper participation, higher ownership, and stronger follow through. Students are not waiting for programs to be offered to them, they're actively shaping the life of the school. Our facility planning is guided by two priorities: meeting all state and district requirements and creating an environment that supports adolescent Montessori learning. At full enrollment, Charm City Garden Montessori will require approximately 45,000 square feet of space, consistent with state guidelines and inclusive of classrooms, labs, art spaces, student supports, and operational needs. Beyond compliance, we are intentionally seeking a building that supports how adolescents learn, flexible spaces, room for movement, and environments for collaboration, independent work, and interdisciplinary learning. Our goal is a facility that not only meets requirements, but also allows the program to function as designed, strengthening student independence, engagement, and deep learning. This property at 6000 Metro Drive gives us the kind of physical flexibility our program actually requires. The building offers just under 48,000 square feet on a single level, which allows us to design learning spaces around advisory communities, classroom neighborhoods, and shared project areas without relying on stairwells or fragmented floors. That matters for how students move, collaborate, and stay connected throughout the day. The site also sits on over 7 acres, which creates real opportunities for garden-based learning, outdoor work cycles, community service projects, and large-scale events like our community vendor festivals without having to leave campus. Because the space was designed as a flex office building, the interior can be reconfigured to support academic work, advisory meetings, production spaces, and student-led conferences rather than forcing learning into a traditional hallway and bell model. There's also a practical advantage to the location. Being in West Baltimore places the school within a community we aim to serve, while also situating us near local businesses, employment centers, and public transportation. This proximity supports community-embedded learning, student internships, service partnerships, and family access. Altogether, this property doesn't just house the school, it actively supports how learning happens at CCGM, both inside the building and in the surrounding community. Everything you've seen today, from our instructional design and schedule to our staffing model and facility needs, reflects a thoughtful, student-centered approach to public education. Charm City Garden Montessori is designed to fill a real gap in access, particularly for middle school students, while offering a high-quality Montessori pathway through adolescence. To move this work forward, we are asking for your support. There are 2 meaningful ways you can help. First, we invite you to make a donation through our website to support startup costs and early planning efforts. Second, we ask you to sign our petition to the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners, signaling your support for the authorization of Charm City Garden Montessori. Both actions help demonstrate community demand and commitment, which are critical as we work to open this school for Baltimore students and families. You can learn more, Donate and sign the petition by visiting www.ccgmschool.org. Thank you for taking the time to learn about our vision and for supporting a school that is deeply rooted in community, equity, and the developmental needs of adolescents.